Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight's headlines, we have the ceremony to launch the reconstruction work of the National Road 1, the Giru Galamo section. The inauguration ceremony of the Daria residence at Pika 13. For the international scene, EU-AU summit for a deeper partnership between Africa and action-oriented Europe. Welcome to our newsroom. This morning in Dakhel City, the City of Unity, an important ceremony to launch the reconstructions of the National Road 1 section Dagiru Galamo took place. The kickoff of this launching was placed under the aegis of the Prime Minister Abdulkadir Kamil Mohammed and saw the participation of several members of the government, in particular the Minister of Infrastructure and Equipment, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Arbahim, the Executive President of the Saudi Fund for the Development, Mr. Sultan bin Abdurrahman Al Murshid, the President of the Authority of Ports and Free Zone, Abu Bakr Umar Hadi, the President of the Regional Council, Abdurrahman Yunis Ari, the Prefect of Dakhel Region, Aden Musa Darar, as well as several other local and international personalities. Upon his arrival at the site of the ceremony, the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdulkadir Kamil Mohammed, received a warm welcome from the population of Dakhel as well as the distinguished guests. The reconstructions of this 16-kilometer long Dagiru Galamo section will be financed by the Saudi Fund for the Development. The rehabilitation of this National Road 1 will significantly reduce travel time between the two sister countries. The Al Ayuni Constructions Company will carry out the rehabilitation work. The Minister of Transport, Hassan Muhammad Arbahim, thanked the Prime Minister for having inaugurating the launching work of this of the constructions of the section Dagiru Galamo, financed by the Saudi Fund of Atlanta 16 kilometers. The Minister of Equipment and Transport has the section is Dagiru Galamo, financed by the Saudi Fund of Atlanta 60 kilometers, which must supplement the works of rehabilitation already finalized between Dagiru and Galafi, carried out on financing of Japan. The minister said by the Djibouti-Galafi Southern Corridor is a valuable development tool. For his part, the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdulkadir Kamil Mohammed, the welcome given to the delegations, thanked the delegation for the warm welcome given to the delegations he led in Dakhel region for the launching ceremony of the reconstruction work of the National Road 1 Dagiru Galamo section. He said, "We are gathered here today to launch the reconstruction work of the Dagiru Galamo section of the National Road 1, a vital role for trade exchanges between Djibouti and the rest of the world. We are gathered today to launch the reconstructions of the Dagiru Galamo section of the National Road 1, a vital road for the trade between Djibouti and our neighbor Ethiopia." The Prime Minister thanked the officials of the Saudi Development Fund for their participation and support in the major infrastructure project in the Republic of Djibouti. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are two brotherly and friendly countries and are linked by solid secular ties which are bound to progress day by day thanks to the will of the leaders of both countries. In the afternoon of Wednesday, February 16, 2022, the Minister of City, Urban Planning and Housing, Amina Abdi Aden, accompanied by strong delegations of the Saudi Fund for Development, led by the President Executive Director Sultan bin Abdul Rahman Al Murshid, on a working visit to Djibouti, presided over an inauguration ceremony of the Darwiya residence at Pika 13 in the municipality of Balbala, financed through the National Investment Program, PIN, piloted by the Prime Minister's Office, built on site of 4 hectares. This project of construction is of 120 brand new apartment is the result of the support and contributions of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the development project of our countries. Through the Saudi Fund for Development in the file of housing, urban development, the ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Djibouti, Faisal bin Sultan Al Qabbani, the ambassador of Djibouti to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Diayeddin Said bin Makrama, the advisor to the President of the Republic in charge of investment, Fahmi Ahmed Al Haga, the Secretary General of the Prime Minister's Office, Naguib Abdullah Muhammad Kamil. This event was also attended by the Director General of Arulos, Abdurrahman Ali Ahmed, the Deputy Director General of the BCMR, and technical partners. At the end of the ceremony, the whole delegation is visited the apartment of new residents Darwiya. For his part, the executive chairman of the Saudi Fund thanked the ministers for the warm and fraternal welcome extended to him and his delegation, and promised to strengthen the relationship with the ministry for the implementation of ongoing and future projects in the housing sectors. For his part, the ambassador of Djibouti in Saudi, Diayeddin Said bin Makrama, recalled the purpose of the visit of the Saudi delegation to Djibouti in the framework of the constant support to the government for the realization of a large-scale projects. In a brief speech delivered on this occasion, the Minister of City, Amina Abdi Aden, welcomed the presence of the delegations to this important event. She also thanked the CEO of the Saudi Development Fund for all the support and funding of the Saudi Fund to all social housing. The minister also thanked through the SDF, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the brotherly and friendly countries for its constant support to the government for the realizations of large-scale projects. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdullah, chaired this morning's workshop on the restitutions of the studies on the census of mapping of civil society organizations involved in the file of health in Djibouti City. The workshop was attended by the UNDP representative, Ms. Emma Gwan Ano, the UNFPA representative, Asha Ibrahim, the UNAIDS representative, Farahad Hassan Farah, the UNICEF representative Malva Johnson, the WHO representative Rene van der Wert, and many executives of the health department. Conducted by a national consultant, this study involved nearly 118 associations and 85 community relay organizations that were analyzed in terms of their locations, their capacity for actions, and their main areas of intervention, as well as their needs in terms of training, materials, and equipment. The conclusions of these prospective studies led numerous recommendations focused on the needs for strengthening the skills and capacity of those community-based organizations in order to improve the impact of their actions within their respective communities. In his speech, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdullah, insisted on the will to improve the effectiveness of community health action through a strategy of exclusive specialization for each of the association is working in a specific area of health within the same range. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, the representative of the organizations of Francophonie to the EU, Mr. Zahra Kamil Ali, proceeded to the signing of an important for the provisions of the premises of the Regional Center for the Teaching of French in Djibouti. The signing ceremony took place at the Cabinet of MENFOP in the presence of the Secretary General and senior staff of the MENFOP, the general directors of CREF. The minister said that the opening of the CREF premises in Djibouti broadened the spectrums of partners working to promote the French languages in Djibouti. He praised the virtues of these centers that federates the facilitate cooperation and exchanges between the regional and national local actors acting in the teaching of French. For his part, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, emphasized the values of CREF in supporting languages and teacher training policies in French and in providing support for the design and dissemination of free and contextualized educational resources for the teaching of French. CREF also supports extracurricular activities to promote French living together and French as a language for employment and entrepreneurship. On Monday afternoon, under the auspices of the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, the Community Development Center of the Neighborhood 5 hosted the launch of the competitions of the mother tongue. The Somali between youth under the ages. This first stage of the competition is of the mother tongues, which is part of the National Week of the Artists and talks brought together dozens of young girls and boys competitors from the 5 CDC. The event was attended by several senior officials of the Ministry of Youth and Culture. These competitions of the national languages took place in a festive atmosphere under the supervision of the linguistic supervisors, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, welcomed this initiative as part of the Week of the Artists and Native Languages. Said that this competition is of mother tongue between young people as an opportunity for them to appropriate national cultural values will contribute with other CDCs of the capital and those of the interior regions. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim decorated this morning the General Directors of the Armed Forces, Philippe Rouanet, the Berchou of the Medals of Officer in the National Orders of the June 27. The French General Doctors was on a working visit to Djibouti, and the medals was awarded to him by the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces on behalf of the President of the Republic. The decoration ceremony took place in the Djibouti Army hangar located at the Djibouti airport in the presence of senior officers, including General Muhammad Ali Tahiro, and senior officers, as well as the Director General of the Djibouti Army Health Services. Still in the news of the countries in the run-up to the regional and communal elections scheduled for the next March, and as a regulatory bodies, the National Commission of Communication has already organized preparatory meeting with the media of the print and broadcast. Yesterday morning, the National Communication Commission held a meeting in its offices with the print media on conditions of media coverage during the regional and communal elections campaign set from February 27 to March 13. It was to define the point on which the media coverage of the print media should intervene and evaluate the human material resources to be implemented. The Vice President of the National Commission of the Communication pronounced a speech of which here at the world. As soon as the February 16th at 11 a.m., the ninth promotions of the international course of perfectionnement enquêteur closed the training, which began on January 9, 2022, around a ceremony rich in colors, which took place at the International School of Perfection in the Practices of the Judicial Police. This international course brought together 19 trainees from 13 countries, including Djibouti, chaired by the Deputy Prosecutor General, in this case, Ibrahim Hussein Wa'isa. The event was attended by the Prefect of the Regions of Arta, the President of the Regional Council, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Ethiopia in Djibouti, the Attaché of International Security at the French Embassy in Djibouti, the Defense Attaché of the Ethiopian Embassy in Djibouti, a representative of the UNFT, representative of the United Nations systems, and several officers of the National Gendarmerie. During this colorful ceremony, the president of the promotion took the floors after the readings of the Holy Quran to summarize the trainees programs that the trainees have followed during the past 6 weeks before thanking the various authorities for having honored the ceremony with their presence despite their professional constraint. At the end, for the traditional family photo before being received by Colonel Zakaria Hassan Adam, the Chief of the Staff of the National Gendarmerie, in the Hall of Honors of the E3PG, where they spoke with them. Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden did not fail to congratulate the trainees for their excellent results and took the opportunity to give each of them a present before proceeding to the refreshment. The school commanders, Lieutenant Colonel Hussein Muhammad Qayad, also held a speech in which he highlighted the intensity of trainees and attendance of trainees. He also thanked the local and international partners who actively participate in the instructions and contribute greatly to the development of the curricula of the E3PG. On these occasions, the major of the trainees of the promotions received their diploma and the insignia of the schools from the hands of the officials present on the spot. Still in the fight against smuggling in all its forms and acting on information collected, the elements of the customs in collaboration with the National Gendarmerie have seized a significant amount of cat smuggled in the sectors of Mulud. These smugglers were carrying a package containing cat, a total of 20 packages estimated at values of 1 million to be sold not only in the market of Mulud but also in the market of the capital, according to the elements of the customs. Namely, the merchandise was fraudulently introduced into the national territory, and this action harmed the national economy. Let's recall that the customs investigators of the Brigade of Dakhil have already set up security devices in the sector of Mulud to intercept smuggled goods. The General Directorate of Customs and Excise congratulates the customs officer for their considerable efforts in the fight against smuggling and reiterates its sincere thanks to the general staff of the Gendarmerie for its unfailing collaboration in this noble national cause. We regret to announce the death of Mr. Ali Idris Gelle, which occurred yesterday in Balbala. The late retired from the armed forces, where he was part of the artistic troupe Harbi, who was also a musician. The late Ali Idris Gelle left behind a widow and 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys, several grandchildren. We send our sincere condolences to the families and relatives of the deceased. May God welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, at least 94 people are dead and 35 missing in the floods and landslides caused by the worst rains in the nearly a century in the tourist city of Petropolis near Rio de Janeiro. The balance sheet of steel provisional has continued to increase hourly in the aftermath of the torrential rains that have turned the tourist street of the centuries into the rivalries of moods, flat rate houses, and lover strands. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.